Meet Natalie. Natalie loves books.
This is your brain on books. Any questions? And this is Angela. She's a very serious jazz singer.
Shooby-dooby-dooby-doop-doop-doo. And sure, we both like to stay informed, but this world sometimes, am I right? You know what we need? 30 minutes of meditation.
Pop culture meditation.
So we're here to remind you.
We get it. You're smart. But right now, take a deep breath and put your books down.
Hey, Natalie.
Hi, Angela.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
Yeah, you look so pretty today.
Thank you. So do you. You always do.
Thank you.
Is that a kimono?
It is. I'm just wearing my kimono.
You know, I love a kimono and a robe. I'm a very big kimono robe person.
Same.
Oh, but of course you are.
Yeah. Well, I just want people to have the illusion that when before I go do a gig, I just sit around in my kimono with my turban on and I just do scales, and blah, 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 blah. That's what I want people to think. Exactly, like Barbara.
Just like Barbara Streisand.
Just like Barbara. Barbara Streisand.
Streisand. Spell it correctly. Go ahead.
Yes. Enough of that. I want to tell you we have a very fun guest with us today, Natalie. Yes, I know. Get excited. This gentleman I met when I lived in Salt Lake City, Utah. It's not Michael Mitchell, although we did mention Michael on our last episode.
Yes.
But there is a roundabout Michael connection, but I'm not going to tell you that part yet. But here's who it is. My friend, everybody, welcome to Put Your Books Down, Mr. Scott Rich. Woo!
Yay! Woo!
Hello, Mr. Scott Rich. Hello.
Hello. Big fans of you both.
Yeah.
And big fan of Angela, and I have lots of dirt.
Oh, great. I didn't know there was dirt. Well, Scott, you may not remember this, but when I was running my parents' art gallery in Salt Lake City in around 2000, 2001, something like that, you walked in trying to sell me an ad to Salt Lake Magazine. Do you recall this?
I do.
Yes. You walked in and we immediately started jabbering away, talking, and could not stop talking. And then you said to me, and it was the best thing I'd ever heard in my life, you go, the next time I see you, can we be drinking wine?
Did we just become best friends?
Did we? Totally. It was totally like that. And I was like, hell to the yes, we can. And thus began.
That's so Utah. They say that all the time in Utah.
Right. Well, you had to, because you had to weed the people out in Utah. You had to make sure you'd be like, if I say wine, what will she say? Yeah.
Exactly.
/ drink through it.
Right.
I mean, I imagine.
Yeah, drink through it was a big part of living in Utah, for sure. But so Scott and I reconnected during the pandemic. I think we sort of we got on the phone and talked, and it had been years and years and years. And I feel like that was one of the best things that happened in the pandemic was that we reconnected with so many people. Natalie and I reconnected too. We were like, why are we not FaceTiming all the time?
Right.
So anyway, we invited Scott here because Scott is
COVID.
a big.
Just kidding.
Yeah, thanks, COVID. We invited Scott because he's a big listener of the podcast, and he's been texting me and just making me laugh hysterically about all the things. And so we thought we would have you on, Scott, to talk about some of our favorite movies, one of your favorite movies, do a little celebrity sighting. You give us some of your, thoughts on Brad Pitt and whatnot. And this will just be a nice little episode for the people. So
yeah,
let's take it away.
Thank you so much for doing this. Yes.
I love it. I'm honored to be here. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, you're in Portland, by the way, now. You're not in Salt Lake City anymore. But are you in Beaverton? Where are you?
I'm in Beaverton. I'm looking at the Nike campus right now.
You said
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I mean,
gorgeous.
not really. It's
beautiful Beaver Town. What is it called?
Beaverton.
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 Beautiful Beaverton.
Beavertown.
We have
There
the
is
good
a
mascots out here. We've got the Oregon State Beavers and the University of Oregon Ducks. The Ducks and the Beavers.
Oh,
So
I
it's
feel like
Yep.
it had been a missed opportunity had they not had the Beavers and the Ducks.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean,
Now,
that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Are
Both love water.
beavers? Yeah. Are beavers? Beavers are mammals.
Mammals.
Whereas
They are.
ducks are aquatic waterfowl. Like aquatic fowl. Is that what they're called?
I
don't know what
somebody's been watching Animal Planet.
Yes. Yes.
and partaking in maybe a gummy or something.
No gummies on board this time, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
No, I meant when you were watching Animal Planet.
Oh, no. Okay, so today we're going to talk about one of the greatest movies ever made, and it's called So I Married an Axe Murderer, everybody. If you have not seen this movie, I just don't know what to say. Like, I don't know who you are.
I don't know. It's one of those ones that I don't know how to relate. I don't know how to talk to you, because I think what we've realized is how many quotes that I use so regularly are from this movie.
I know. Scott suggested this one because it's one of your favorites. Scott, why don't you just right off the bat, it's Mike Myers, Nancy Travis. Tell us why you love this movie, just in general, why you love this movie so much.
One, it's kind of a caricature of the 90s in general, not just the soundtrack, but just all of the sayings. And it was also the rise of the SNL folks. This was Mike Myers at his height. And also there's, a nice appearance by Phil Hartman. Rest in peace, Phil. And the soundtrack is wonderful. Just great songs. But probably the best thing about it is, there's some cheesy parts for sure, but that's what a good movie is all about sometimes. But I love the cameos of all the random people. Charles Grodin. My God. Yes. Stephen Wright, Alan Arkin. Yes. Alan Arkin's probably my favorite character.
Mine too. I was like, I forgot.
Yeah, and him trying to be like the mean cop.
I know.
Oh God, it's the best. I just replay that.
Because they said they wanted him for that role because he was known to be a big sweetheart. And so they thought he was perfect for that role. And he was, and he's always perfect. But my God, I loved him in this movie.
Yeah. Natalie, what is it that jumps out at you other than what Scott just said? Because I feel like what Scott said is exactly why I love it too.
I mean, it was, the soundtrack was amazing. I loved, I've always been obsessed with Saturday Night Live as, I'm through and through, no matter what, die hard. And like, we had this local coffee shop in our neighborhood, and our parents would drop us off to go have steamers. And they were those huge, it was just like that coffee shop vibe with like poetry slam. So I was like, it was like really in the now. Yeah. And I felt like I got a lot of the humor more so than some of my friends because I was so obsessed with Saturday Night Live, and I got to watch it and stay up late. Because I'm only like 11 maybe when this movie came out. It was 93. But I also had so much. I knew who Charles Grodin was because I loved Clifford. I knew who, and I knew who all these cameos were at like 11 years old. And my sister and I were obsessed with the soundtrack. And also. We used to do the poetry, Mike Myers' initial like woman, whoa. My sister and I would do that for our parents' friends, like when they'd come over for like dinner parties, just like little things like that. I knew Nancy Travis from 3 Men and a Baby, where she played that terrible mother, that dropped off her baby. It's random doorstep of men in a. Was that San Francisco also? I think it was. Okay. Well, she was a horrible person in that movie, but she was, not so much in this one, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. But there was also a lot of in this movie foreshadowing of like Austin Power. It just kind of like the SNL element of this was so humongous. Yes. And quite frankly, and I'll just say this, I have a gift. I'm just going to tell you all both.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Listen to me.
Natalie is now going to tell us.
I'm going to tell you all my gift. I can gauge a movie, like a vibe of a movie, if whether or not I'm going to like it or not, based on the font of the introductory credits. Like I just can't. I just know if I'm going to like it or not, or if I'm like feeling this movie. And I have turned movies off based on font because I'm like, okay, well, this isn't my vibe right now. You can tell from like a Scorsese film. You can tell from like a, so this font was kooky and kind of crazy and weird, and so you knew that that's what you're getting. But that's just like that's something I noticed when this movie was coming on. I was like, oh my God, the font, because it's like So I Married an Axe Murderer, and you don't know, like it's going to be silly because it's Mike Myers and it's in the 90s, but Like, where is this going? So that's just something that really stands out to
We're
me.
gonna just mark that down, everybody. Natalie has a
My
gift with
gift.
fonts. It's up
Yes.
there with your knack for impressions.
Thank you.
So yeah, you're welcome. So the thing for
Angela,
me
what
that I
about
wrote,
you?
the thing I wrote down, first of all, I wrote down so many things. Like, this is Mike Myers prime time, well before Austin Powers. I think he looks pretty
Kramer?
Oh my God, yeah. I think he looks pretty classy in this movie too. Like, I love his 90s fashion with his like dark t-shirt, dark
Yeah.
shirt with a blazer over top, not
Well, he's
to
actually kind of
mention
cute. He's kind of
he's
cute in
kind
it.
of cute. Now,
He's
let
kind
me
of cute
ask
in
you,
it.
I feel like we need to go right off the bat just to get this out of the way. I want to talk about the two main characters' hair, okay? Because it's
Yep.
important to talk about hair. And I don't know,
Sure.
Natalie, is that haircut that Mike Myers has, is that
With the
a butt cut?
It's a strong cowlick butt cut. He had obviously, I feel like that I think roly brushes are in use to really pump up those cowlicks,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
kind of actually I wouldn't it's like a cowlick bowl cut, quite frankly,
Okay.
because
Right. Yeah.
it's thick in the back and then short. It goes
But
all
it's
the
very
way around.
tapered. It's very stylized and tapered, I
It's a
noticed.
volumized butt cut, bowl cut with cowlicks.
Like, it's like a hybrid butt cut cowlick
Bowl
style.
cut.
Bowl
Sure.
cut.
Sure.
Right. Scott, are you familiar with the term butt cut, or is that something that you knew about, or?
I'm not. I just jotted it down to check out later.
Mhm.
But like everything on Put Your Books Down, I learn lots of things.
Right.
That's why we're here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why
We're
we're
just
here,
here to educate. Now,
Yep.
I want to talk about Nancy Travis's hair too, because that is cowlick city. I mean, cowlick city. And here's how I feel about it. When she's got it big and flowing and gorgeous and out, it's beautiful.
Yes.
But when she's got it kind of up and like smashed down, she's got all this like curly cowlick stuff going on and frizz.
Hot
and I'm
mess.
like, you know what? I think this was just all they had back in those days was like John Frieda's frizzies. Like, I don't think, like, she could have really benefited from that tub of the Aveda humectant pomade. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
Totally. Yeah. It was
like, Aveda was around. I mean, it was San Francisco. The least they could have done is get her some humectant pomade. I mean, I
sure.
was rocking that in when I was in 1993, for sure.
Mhm. I mean, it was a $20 million budget. They could have thrown in
Yeah.
some Aveda pomade hair product.
Well, and
Yeah,
if I can
particularly-
add,
Yeah.
San Francisco is the other important part of this movie. I don't know if any of y'all have lived in San Francisco.
I haven't
Well,
heard anyone. I
Not
don't know
many
anybody
people
that's lived there.
mentioned it if they have, but it's basically, I think, was put on by the Convention and Visitors Bureau of San Francisco. You go to all the places, right?
It is a love letter to my city, by the way.
Even
Exactly.
Alcatraz, which is
Even
so
Alcatraz.
random.
It's so random. The other thing I love about this movie is all the randomness. I realized, now here is something I'm going to just reveal to you guys, and you're just brace yourselves. I've never seen this movie all the way through.
I mean, I'm not shocked. I don't know.
Should we take a moment of silence? I mean, that's just crazy.
Well, Angela, you always realize these things like when we're watching stuff, and then you text me, and I'm like, "Geez, oh my
I know.
god! Like, how have you not?
What were you doing?
But did you ever? But you started it and you never finished it, or you had just never started it and you've never seen this movie?
I think maybe I'd seen like the opening credits. Like, I'd
You
seen
saw the
woman.
trailer. No, you
Maybe
saw
the trailer. I bet I saw the
Right.
trailer.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
What was? You know why? And I'll tell you
because
why.
you lived in
'Cause
San Francisco, and you're like, I've seen it.
I was
I
too
lived
busy.
it.
Good one.
Yeah,
I
sweet.
also had my dad also had a Carmen Ghia. I'm just saying. I mean,
All
I'm
right.
just saying. Okay.
You know that was the car that Robert Redford used in Sneakers.
Yes, I remember. Remember when we
Remember
talked about it? Yep.
Sneakers? Yep.
Okay. So anyway, the randomness, I just realized like all of these quotes that my friends have been saying to me, like the fruits of the devil, like Allison has been saying that to me for years. Also like the whole thing about it's like very cuckoo.
That's all. That was where I got that.
A Piper is down. I say that
Yeah,
all the time, and there's nobody down. I just say it. People are like, "What's wrong with you?"
Yes.
Piper is down.
And she smelled like soup.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a reason.
That's a reason. I
Mhm.
love it.
I know.
And even
It's-
that's when Mike Myers starts saying one, as he plays his father in the movie, and he mimicked it after his own Scottish father. You see how he starts like really getting into the split screen, like where he plays more than one character, because then we get in, and then he's like, he even says like evil. It's like there's a lot of Austin Powers coming up with this movie after, because we've seen all those. But this is like just a small example of when all these actors decided to play all the parts themselves.
I know.
In the like late 90s, early 2000s, like Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, Mike Myers, like everybody, Adam Sandler, they all wanted to just like do all the roles, which is sometimes uncomfortable. But in this case, I thought it was really good. I thought it was really funny. The dad was
and it didn't go over the top, I didn't think.
No, I don't think
like
so.
It could have gone far over the top with that character, the dad character, So, okay. Yeah. So anybody here, I just wanted to poll the audience. Scott, have you ever had haggis?
No, I have no desire. And I'm Scottish also, and I don't.
Oh, you're Scottish.
So this really hit home with you.
Yeah.
So this really does mean a lot to you.
Look how pasty I am. Like, I'm both Scottish and Irish. That's why I ended up in the Pacific Northwest. It's like witness protection program for
But you don't age. Here. You are always going to look 12. So I don't feel that bad for you.
That's true.
Agreed.
That's true.
Sorry.
You look exactly the same as when I met you.
It's like a porcelain doll.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that skin.
Like a baby. Okay? Yeah.
Yeah, it feels that way.
Yeah, not mad about it.
And what about this? We all touched on the soundtrack, but let's just revisit.
Oh my god.
Okay.
The soundtrack.
Prince's da 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 da. Now go ahead now, Vincent. Okay, there's that one, and there's
SATUR. Oh yeah.
Not just one. There she
There's
goes,
two
but
versions
two different versions because he loved the
know.
song so much.
Yes,
I know,
and I love both versions.
I know.
So good.
I know.
Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Toad the Wet Sprocket.
I just feel like it's. I just feel like, is there something about like the 90s? Was that like the end? It was like pre-grunge. Was it pre-grunge or post-grunge? I guess it's post-grunge.
During.
It was
then during.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's like this was like
this
the
was like
happier
beatniky
side.
grunge. This was the beatniky grunge, like people that went to Bennington and like the coffee house snaps. You don't clap, you snap, and you drink ginormous like head-sized cappuccinos, and it's just like that whole poetry slam thing. That was all during the grunge stuff too.
So nostalgic.
And I know this because I was 11.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I just know what I know. Okay. I know what I know. Okay.
Right. And I just felt like that was like the last of the earnest like songs on the top 40. Like it was pre like over. I mean, we always had electronic stuff, but like this was like garage bandy. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
It just made me so nostalgic. Does anybody else feel nostalgic watching this again? I did. Massively.
I was born in the wrong era, so my soul feels nostalgic, but I can't quite speak to my age. But y'all go ahead.
Yeah, I'm kind of an old
soul.
That's
how I to be rude.
So
what Scott?
I'm an old soul. I always felt like I was more like the 60s kind of person, but I feel like I'm a day walker. I can be in the 90s too sometimes, and I don't know. I can kind of, I don't know. We're
chameleons. We're like soul chameleons of like time of decades. I can absolutely morph into the 60s, and I can absolutely morph into the 90s, and the rest I'm kind of like, sure.
Maybe the three of us should start a band called Soul Chameleons. You know?
And we can someone write that down. Soul Chameleons is our band name.
And then we can like play songs by Toad the Wet Sprocket and
we have to write our own songs
bands
that sound like all of their songs. Like we're just going to be. We're not going to be a cover band.
Oh, okay.
We're going to write our own like sad, dark, weirdly poppy. Crap music that people don't now are obsessed with and trying to mimic. Now everyone's obsessed with the 90s again. I mean, it's just like
because we're not. But I mean, we're not going to go the direction of like Smash Mouth though. We're going to go more Toad the Wet Sprockets.
Yeah, Spin Doctors.
Spin Doctors. Yes, exactly.
Anything else?
Yeah. Okay.
Sugar Ray.
Yeah. Now,
oh God. Look, you can't deny it.
Shut the door, baby. Don't say a word.
Look, it's gonna get stuck in your head. They did what they wanted to do.
They did.
They made a buttload of money doing that.
My God. Oh, that's hilarious. I just didn't realize that my entire humor profile I got from this movie. And also like all the randomness, like when they're at the wedding and he's singing, the bagpipes are playing If You Want My Body, and he's like singing it all minery and weird. and then like the piper falls down, and then you see that there's like a couple making out in the back by a tree.
Oh my God, that's
like
amazing.
that kind of stuff
Weird
is what I'm
shit
talking about.
all over the place.
Random ass weird shit.
Can we
everywhere.
also talk about my favorite character in this movie, who's the best friend, the undercover cop?
Oh, Anthony.
Who is I think steals the show.
Anthony LaPaglia.
Yes, I think he stole the show because there's the part at the end, and this is not a spoiler, but when like there's like they're at the honeymoon and there's this like huge situation about like a murder going on, and he can't hear what's going on because he's focused on the wrong person, and it's all this on the roof, and you know the sound effects, and he's just like this terrible cop, but he tries really hard. He wants to be a good cop, and he wants to be taken seriously. I think that he rewatching it like yesterday, maybe he stole the show for me. I thought he was absolutely hilarious.
Yes.
But also he was the dude in Empire Records.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He was the owner, and he had a romance with Debbie Mazar. What's Debbie?
Debbie Mazar.
Debbie
Mazar.
And
she's in this too.
And this is his date too.
She makes that nice little,
she's fabulous too, by the way.
She's
I just love
freaking fabulous.
Absolutely.
She's the one who like stops. They're all like, she stops the conversation because she's like, because they're talking about what's the worst way to die or whatever.
She Natalie or Angela did.
Yeah.
She's like, electrocution.
And it was like crickets.
Oh,
people are like, I ate too many hot dogs and I died from eating too many hot dogs. And she's like, electrocution. Like,
yes.
Hey-oh, that's real. Okay. Like, that's what me and Angela do on a regular basis.
She started.
So awkward.
She was the inspiration for Debbie Downer on SNL.
Yes.
She had to have been.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
That absolutely, that adds up.
I bet you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you're right.
Yeah. Now here's
Scott,
an interesting tidbit, if I can.
Yes, please.
I always love to look up who was scheduled to be cast for certain parts.
Yes.
Sharon Stone was originally cast for the Nancy Travis role for Harriet.
Whoa.
And the only reason she didn't get it is because she wanted to play both Rose and Harriet. And they're like, no, it's too much.
It would have been amazing.
It would have been crazy good.
It would have been crazy good. But
it wouldn't have been as funny.
Right. And the actress that plays Rose is the woman Honey Bunny from Pulp Fiction.
It's Honey
Bunny.
Mm-hmm.
Honey Bunny. Let's go Honey Bunny. But and she's kind of terrifying, but really
very scary.
Charming. She's just, there's something. She's got the riz too, though, like in that weird psycho way.
Can I say something about her?
Yeah.
That I found out that my mind went through my brain and out into out the window and down the street.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Wow.
That's a lot
from that journey.
My head better actually fucking explode.
Scott is falling asleep.
Right.
She's the daughter of Christopher Plummer, who is
Shut up.
She's. Do you know who that is?
Yes, I know who
Captain
Christopher
Von
Plummer is.
Trapp.
May he
Come
rest
Captain
in peace.
Von Trapp is
May
her
he rest
dad.
In peace. Beautiful man. Oh. Well, no wonder she's so fucked up.
I know.
I mean, that's textbook.
I mean, can you even? I mean, but
no,
she turned into this amazing character actress, and that's her
She's
dad.
An amazing actress.
I know,
and we don't. And none of us know her name.
I know. It's Amanda Plummer. Now we know her name.
Oh, Amanda Plummer. Yeah. That's right.
But yeah, but I just call her Honey Bunny.
That you're such a good actress.
Oh,
we love you.
Okay, sorry. I know we're getting off track. It's fine. There is really no track. We're just chatting. We're just chatting.
Also, Scott, did you see? That like Sean Connery, Goldie Hawn, like all these other people wanted, like so many people read this script and wanted to be in this movie, and there are scheduling conflicts, and which is so bizarre because this movie is like, you would think this was made with like $10, but it was like a $20 million budget.
Totally.
And all of these huge famous people wanted to read it.
And Woody Allen, it's originally his. Like,
what?
You know, this was supposed to be a Woody Allen movie, only it was supposed to be a little more serious and like not comedic. And that's
right.
You know, Mike Myers rewrote a lot of things, which is why there was some issues on, you know, the set with the producers and the director and stuff, because, you know, he wanted to do his own thing, which I'm glad he did, because it was really funny and kitschy. And like we said, we still say this stuff. Plus Mike Myers, and I can't see him in a really dramatic role. There's only a couple of people that can pull that off.
He has certainly tried.
What
and honestly, I'm just glad Woody Allen didn't, because we all can still watch it.
Yes,
that's
that's right.
true.
Yeah,
Now we can still watch it. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can still watch it.
But
Can you imagine if Woody Allen had been
well, we wouldn't be talking about it right now.
Scott? It would be
Sorry.
awful. What other tidbit did you rake up? Any other tidbits that you raked up from in your research?
Also, let's go back to the Woody Allen being in this movie.
Okay.
Can you even imagine the tone of like how like
No.
the soundtrack would have been like not
jazz?
Snooze Palooze. I mean, not in a bad way. I love jazz and I
but it would have been like
the music. It just would have been this movie would have been like a poor man's Fatal Attraction.
Yeah.
Shitty movie.
Yeah, it would have had Diane Keaton and Mira Sorvino probably somewhere in the movie.
Maybe Daryl Hannah.
Which they're great on their own, but
absolutely
still, yeah.
But can't it's just not. I can't imagine. Like it's just so bizarre that this is like a cult classic because I don't think it really did that well at the box office. It was such a like, and now it's just like this gem of a movie.
Right.
But it was just so bizarre that all of these people, wanted to be in it, and like Woody Allen had it, but it also kind of started Mike Myers being known as kind of a dick with movies and stuff.
What?
Yeah, I mean, like because of the creative, he wouldn't, and it's a bit understanding in this situation, right, Scott? Because he like wouldn't credit him for any of the producing or co-writing, and
one of his co-writers didn't get some of the credit, and he was upset, and even the director, Tommy Schlamme was. I'm saying his name right, that was like his last movie that he directed, and he went into TV, which is kind of a good thing because he ended up doing Friends and The West Wing and a whole bunch of Aaron Sorkin things.
What?
So he stopped doing movies so he could do TV, and then he came up, he was the guy.
Yeah. That is okay. Well, that's silver lining. And you know what? Thank God that Mike Myers was a dick about it.
Yeah.
It made a lot of people have wild, amazing careers.
Sometimes that's what you got to be.
My last trivia on that movie is Nancy Travis, when she was learning how to be a butcher in the butcher shop, actually sliced the tip of her finger off. And it had to be reattached. And everything was cool. But you can see at certain scenes in the movie, she's actually wearing a Band-Aid covering up the stitches.
Oh,
true story. I had to rewind it several times and found it.
I'm so glad that they found it and put it on ice fast enough to get it reattached, and they did it correctly and not like a Naked Gun movie like backwards. That would have been funny in the movie had they like sewn it on backwards.
Yeah, or a piece of sirloin.
Or like
a piece of sirloin. Yeah, I think there was a missed opportunity there, but I'm glad she's okay. I'm glad that she's fine and that her finger's fine.
I wonder if that happened before or after the line about finding a bloody, scabby Band-Aid under your steak. Remember?
Ooh, yeah.
That part.
I wonder if that was improv.
I don't know. Well, we'll never know. I want to say another thing about the part of the movie where at the end where he's sliding down the he's on the roof. Mike Myers is on the roof a lot, and he's he's almost getting killed, and he slides, and there's a lot of crotch hitting. His crotch got hit.
Who doesn't love a crotch hit joke, though? I love a crotch hit, like a kick in the crotch. That's funny.
His crotch got hit
landing
a
on
lot.
A pole in the crotch.
Yes, it was
side
so
of the
much.
roof on the crotch. It's funny.
Yes, just crotch. Because
they almost make like crack noises, like nut crack noises when they do it. I appreciate that kind of humor.
Which doesn't happen in real life. Just for the record.
Right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scott.
I'm glad it doesn't, because that means things would be broken.
Right.
I think it was broken though.
It's just a like a shtick. So
yeah,
so to speak.
Also, we have to take a moment to honor the fact that we got to see Mike Myers' buns.
Oh, when do you
major buns?
I feel like we always see his buns.
It's like I never not see his buns. Yes, Scott. Yeah. It's like buns.
Austin Powers. It was all about let's do a movie that shows my butt.
Wayne's World. He shows his buns. He makes a big wedgie and does the big buns. I mean, Mike Myers is so obsessed with his fucking buns. Like, I'm like, your buns are not, like, you, dude, are not the bun guy. Okay? Stop trying to be the bun guy.
Yeah. I mean,
stop it.
Well,
there's a guy named Brad Pitt for that. I mean,
yeah, we're over your buns, Mike Myers. Like, who do you think you are? I'd rather see Chris Farley's buns day in, day out.
Oh, wow.
I said it, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
I realized what just came out of my mouth, and I'm just going to have to stand by it because I've already said it, and that's what I'm doing.
Said it. I didn't realize that's where this conversation was going to go about the buns. I didn't realize you were going to get so passionate about his
I
buns.
didn't mean to get
I was
upset,
also
but Scott and I are on the same page.
Yeah.
Well, and he also does wear a lot of whitey tighties in his films, and there's just a lot of package in the front.
And you know what? He
lot.
also wears a lot of T-shirts and the whitey tighties that doesn't look like he's wearing. It's Winnie the Pooh stuff.
Yep.
Okay? He's big Winnie the Pooh guy.
And I think
big top and no bottoms guy.
I'm assuming by
bottoms are
whitey
so
tighties, you guys mean tighty whiteys?
Yes, that's what I meant. Tighty whiteys.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Thank you, Scott.
Yep.
Yeah, you're
Thank you
welcome.
for keeping us in check. Okay.
Yeah, well, I
We
mean,
have
you guys
to-
don't wear them, so it's
Right. Clearly.
maybe
Well,
you do.
he like
Well, do
created
you?
the Winnie the
I
Pooh
mean-
vibe.
No.
All right, Angela.
I mean, this got a little personal all of a sudden, but no.
Yeah.
Okay. So
All right. Let's,
I'm sure there's
had
a
a
commando,
dream
below
a
the
commando
belt.
joke
I had
happening soon.
I had a dream about one of my very close friends who is an amazing award-winning jazz singer. And she was on stage and she turned around and her dress was completely unzipped and she just showed everybody her ass. I can never tell her this story because I think it would embarrass her. So I'm never going to. And I'm never going to tell you who it is. So you all can just wonder
well,
for the rest of
obviously
your
tell
lives.
me when we get offline.
I
so.
will, for sure. Okay. Anyway, okay. We have to take Scott, it's there's so much to talk about with you. We just are so happy that you're here with all your trivia, and we're so happy that you came on the podcast. It's
We
so
really
much
are.
fun.
And we also need you. We need two things from you, Scott. We
Mhm.
need your celebrity encounter, your favorite celebrity
Yes.
encounter, and then we have
Yes.
to take our pit stop. And that's and then
And then we have to wrap her
we'll
up.
set you free.
Got
Time
it.
flies.
Yeah.
So Scott,
Yes.
here's what I want to ask you.
Okay.
We are going to now take a
We're doing this before the celebrity encounter.
Oh,
I'm so confused.
sorry. Let's just rewind that. Okay, I rewound it.
The
Um,
production on this podcast
Hope
is
people watch
amazing.
that on YouTube. That was amazing. I'll do this part, Angela. It's okay.
Thanks. Go ahead.
And I'm not telling you to calm down. I'm not.
And I'm
Calmer
not
than you are.
shushing you.
Calmer than you are. Calmer than you are, dude.
Okay.
Scott,
Yes.
what is your favorite celebrity encounter that you've ever had?
So I've had a couple.
Yeah.
So I'll do my favorite one. I'll save the other ones in case I get asked back.
You
So,
will.
Andie MacDowell.
That's a big one.
That is a big one.
I'm at the Seattle airport waiting to get on a little flight to go to Vancouver, British Columbia.
When was this?
This
Which
was
Andie?
pre-pandemic. I'm going to say
Okay.
2017, maybe
Oh,
Okay.
2018.
she's at her most fab these days.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So there's this woman sitting there with like an animal of some sort. I couldn't tell what was in the little crate. And then she pulled it out and it was a little dog. She had sunglasses on and I was like, all right, who's this chick? It's CTAP. Come on, everybody chill. And then I found out she was on my flight. Then I found out I was sitting right behind her. And it was one of those where you have two rows on one side and one row on the other side.
Uh-huh.
So it was just like a little jet goes right to Vancouver. She takes off her glasses and her dog got off and, came around and was talking to me. And she's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. And I'm like, oh no, it's fine. And then I could tell who she was. And I said, I leaned in and I went, by the way, big fan. And
That's like the best thing to say.
I know, right?
Bold.
That's all I did.
love that.
Because it's not offensive.
Now, here's
Right.
the coolest part of all. She said, oh, yeah? Then what's your favorite movie I was in?
I love her.
And I was like,
I love her.
oh my God. And then I said, Hudson Hawk.
Holy
Yes!
shit. She must have been floored. Oh my God.
She was
Well
like, oh my
played.
God. She couldn't talk. And then she was like, you must be my favorite fan of all time because no one would ever say that. They would say
Yes.
all
Right.
the other things. They would say Michael. They would say
And
Four
she's
weddings
like,
and a
and did we
funeral.
just become best friends?
yes.
Yeah.
And we just kept talking the whole time. She's like, what was your favorite part? And I said, when you made the sound like the dolphin. And she's like, oh my God, I hurt my voice box doing that. And it was just a great flight. And the sad thing was the flight from Seattle to Vancouver is like 45 minutes. It's super short. So I was like, why couldn't I be like on my way to Washington, D.C. or somewhere far?
Or
Yeah.
China?
Yeah, somewhere. So that might have been
India.
that much for her. Yeah.
Right.
So then we get off and we were up front. We were like, she was seat 1 and I was seat 2. And we were going through customs. So we were standing together the whole time, just chit-chatting the whole way.
Travel buds.
Yeah. She was super nice, and she was interested in where I was from and all this. And we get through customs and everything, and we're going on our way. And she was going out. I was getting ready to go on the escalator to go up and get on the SkyTrain to go downtown Vancouver. And she's like, "Hey, where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to hop on the SkyTrain and go downtown." She's like, "Are you staying downtown?" And I said, "Yeah." And she's like, "Come on, you're riding with me."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is so
Yeah. So I got in her
cool.
little town car, and she was staying in some condo. She was doing some Hallmark movie or series where she was like a judge or something. I didn't watch it.
Of course not.
Of course not.
Oh, Amy Brenneman of her.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. She told me all about it, and I acted like I knew all about it. And
Yeah, you're like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm
well,
just
of
staring at
course,
you,
you're her
Andie
number one
MacDowell,
fan.
yeah,
like,
I just haven't got to my
don't
DVR
give a
yet.
shit, don't give a
I'm
shit,
sure.
but keep talking.
Yeah.
Of course.
So that was it. She was really nice, and she's like, "Well, have a great time while you're here, and I hope I run into you." And I was like, "Oh my God, Andie MacDowell."
Scott, that is a major celebrity encounter. That is major.
Yeah.
But it's also like so cool because you got to hang out with her and like actually just chat like a normal human.
I'm
like
so glad
celebrities
she was so
are humans
nice.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, I also love that she's a little bit like self aware. Not, she's like, "What's your favorite?" Well, I love that she called you out on like, you said big fan. She's like, "Oh yeah, what's your favorite movie?" And then you say Hudson Hawk. Yeah. And she's like, "Oh, what's your favorite part?" Like she's still trying, like checking you. And I think that's badass. But when you tell her, she's like, "Oh, tell me why." Yeah. And then that would be so me. I'd be like, when people are like, "Oh, I love y'all's podcast." I'm like, "Yeah, what's your favorite part?" And they're like, what?
Yeah. You're like,
you
don't listen to the podcast.
I'm like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
You're like, where did Angela used to live?
Well, right. Yeah, please. What does she talk about nonstop?
Exactly.
Right. But Scott, that's so
she was so chill. And that was the other reason my friends were like, let's see your selfie with her. And I'm like, didn't get one because I didn't want to ruin it.
No, right. That ruins it. Don't do it
at all.
That's right.
So I just enjoyed it, and that was for me. And if people don't believe me, then that's their bad.
Well, they can sit and rotate. Okay, Scott. I mean, and also like whatever. If you take a picture with them, because then you have to prove it, that means that it wasn't very authentic. You maybe, and whatever your story is, nobody gives a shit because you probably asked for a selfie and ran, and they were kind enough to do it. But if you have an actual interaction, an actual like conversation, and spend time with a famous person and they're nice, the story is everything.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Exactly.
You just got to be
cheers
cool.
To you. Cheers to Scott and Andie MacDowell.
Cheers to you,
right
and
now.
cheers to Andie MacDowell for sure. Cheers.
Hey, thank you, Andie, for not being an asshole. We love that.
I'll drink to that.
All right, now Angela. Now
okay, now everybody, let's all do it together. Here we go.
All right.
Okay. Okay. So Scott, if you had to choose one Brad Pitt character that you wanted to share a flight with, which one would it be?
Oh man, I would say Brad Pitt from Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
Ooh, good one. Why?
Because of his clothes, because of his attitude. He was so just fun in that movie. It was almost like he and George Clooney were just kind of like, let's do this movie and let's just have fun. It was almost you and Angela, to be honest. It was like, it was the banter and the fun. And
I am dead.
And I wouldn't, and I also wouldn't be hungry.
You wouldn't be hungry because he's eating the whole time.
Because he's eating the whole time. I'd be like, can I have one of those shrimp?
Yeah, and he'll give it to you. He shares.
He would share.
It's like and like he and George Clooney, they're not. It's like they're not even acting. It's like they're just hanging out the whole time, and like you just get to be like a part of it.
And I think he's the height
totally
of hotness too at that age.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%.
Wait, are we talking the first one because that's Jennifer Aniston days, and then the second and third I think were Angelina days. So are we talking all of them, like a combo?
Just 11, just the first one.
Agreed.
I mean, the other ones he's great in for sure because he still has that character.
But 11 was his best.
11 was the best. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
I'm with you. I'll drink
Angela,
to that.
who would you want to share plane? Which character would you want to
share a plane with? I haven't really given this enough thought. Probably the one from River Runs Through It.
You took it out of my mouth because you knew I was going to say that. You just did that.
Is that a butt cut? Is that a butt cut hairdo? Is it kind of a butt cut?
It's a kind of a it is kind of a butt cut.
I want a butt.
Why? No. It's supposed to be the
be...
character. It's not supposed to be the way he looks. It's supposed to be like, why? Like, how are you going to chat him? What are you going to talk about? I was going to say the same thing.
I'm just going to put my finger over his mouth, and I'm just going to put my finger over his mouth and say, "Don't talk."
How to be a bad gambler and get killed? I don't know.
Wow.
I don't think so. Spoiler alert.
I don't know. Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
What about you, Nat? I mean, you that was the one you were going to say, right?
Well, no. I mean, as I was like, I'd love gambling tips. Then I forgot that he was absolutely murdered because he was a terrible gambler.
Yeah.
I am torn between Floyd from True Romance.
Yeah, he might get annoying though.
Annoying?
No,
I mean, I'd be like, I would just laugh the whole time. I just feel like it's always funny to be around a high person when you're not high. True. I can't do that, but like I think it's always funny to be around them. And then maybe I like the Ocean's 11 thing. I think he's very funny in that. And then maybe I'm sorry, Inglourious Bastards.
Oh
yeah. Okay.
I want to hear about my grandfather was in D-Day.
Yeah.
Shout out to William A. Simmons. And I want to hear about Nazis because my grandfather
Nazis.
I would want to hear all about killing Nazis.
Killing Nazis.
Yeah. And speaking Italia. Yeah.
Oh man, that's a good movie.
All right. Well, that sounds great. And everybody, I love you all, and I'm so happy that we could get together and have this little chat. So nice to
meet you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this. I can't wait for you to do this again, and I hope to be able to meet you in person one day.
Yeah.
As our paths can cross.
It's a dream come true, and I hope that I can be on the podcast again. I'm going to think up more good movies for y'all.
Please.
And congratulations on whatever just happened recently for you.
Mm-hmm.
And,
thank you so much.
Yeah. Hope you guys had a nice Thanksgiving as well.
We did. We got really tan.
Did.
Nice.
Yeah. Good tans.
I made Michael's cocktail that we featured on our last episode, the little cup of cheer. I've had some of that. Scott, I hope you also had a nice start to your Thanksgiving seats or your holiday season. I wanted to say this is the first of the December episodes, I think, where we are going to just be talking about movies that you can watch with your family. So these are all like I think you could watch. So
or by yourself to take a break from your family,
right?
We
can circle around, yeah. But it's one of those that I feel like you could watch this with your family and nobody's going to be like super weird, or if there's nothing like too raunchy, but there's enough raunch.
But you need to know that you might be the only one that gets it.
Yeah.
True.
Because you might be the one in the family that you're the only one that gets it. My sister gets it too, but it's
you gotta know your family to know.
You gotta read the room.
Read the room.
Yeah. Right. But this is one of those movies that everybody can find something funny. Scott and I watched it. He was dying. I mean, it's just funny. Especially if you love Saturday Night Live, you'll love this movie.
And if you love Charles Grodin, I mean,
oh
my god,
or Kramer.
Try to.
And if you love Charles Grodin, a plug for Midnight Run. If you haven't seen Midnight Run,
I need to revisit.
I need to revisit that one too.
I've never seen the whole thing.
Oh my god!
I walked into my parents watching it for a little bit, and then they made me leave.
Oh,
so
I wonder why.
Yeah, it's really not that bad. Right. You should watch it.
I know. I think they just were annoyed. But yeah.
All right. Well,
I need to revisit that.
We're going to wrap her up and say, everybody, thank you once again. Everybody, if you're listening to the podcast and you like the podcast, please like our podcast on all the socials. Please go give us a review on the Apple Podcasts because that's what gives us the best ratings. Listen to us on Spotify, wherever. Watch our YouTube. Join our channel. Do all the things, please. We love it so much.
Get in there. Come in with us.
Just get in there. Get in there.
Be with us. We want to be with you.
We want to be with you.
Be with you.
Yes.
Exactly.
And to that, I will say, Scott, to you, I will say, you know what's coming next.
I do. I'm getting ready for it.
Okay. Namaste. Doing the Weekly World News Garth Brooks Juice Fast diet.
Oh, I loved that.
That was really good.
Brilliant.
Thank you. And
and I will say to you, Scott, namaste, cuckoo.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I guess
Scott,
I will say namaste, smelling like vegetable beef soup.
Yeah, I almost did that one too. Good one.
Woe-man.
I'm so glad.
Whoa, man.
Whoa, man.
Woo! All right.
Scott, Scott. Thank you so much.
Love you all.
Love you guys. Thank you
See you
so
guys.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
Be sure and tip your waitress. We're out.
Now, isn't that better? Thanks for listening. Feel free to leave us a review and be sure to subscribe wherever you get your shows. Put Your Books Down is produced by ClantonCreative.com.